Hey, y'all. This is Frank the Bigfoot, and you're listening to the Paranormal Punchers.
Hey, friends. Welcome to another spectacular episode of Paranormal Punchers. I'm Mark.
I'm Alicia.
I'm Nash.
I'm Dave.
Hey, guys. What's happening?
No, not much.
Okay, great conversation. On this episode, we're going to talk about Indrid Cold.
Indrid.
The Grinning. Why do I keep saying it? I can't even spell it right.
I know.
Indrid, not Ingrid.
Watch this, take two. We are going to talk about Indrid Cold, also known as the Grinning Man.
Or Smiling Man.
Or Smiling Man. Thanks, Dave. Thanks for the correction. Or addition, because he's the Grinning
That's right.
Man, he's the Smiling Man.
Look,
Yeah.
my extensive research always called him
And you're in the car on the way here.
Cold, also commonly known as the Smiling
The
Man.
smiling man, right.
So
He could be all smiles.
you're going to confuse me if you change it on me.
Oh,
So.
boy.
That's right.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I'm using Grinning Man.
Okay.
You're going Smiling Man.
Yeah. We'll see who wins.
You kids agree or I will pull this car right over.
And right in front of Nash, we have the little doll head
That's great.
smiling at him.
That's-
So it's
that's-
going to be
that's
a
wonderful.
good episode.
That's going to be great.
Are both eyes open?
As far as I know, yes.
Okay.
Yes. I'm playing with the eyeball right now.
Okay.
Don't do that.
I don't think it likes that.
No, I don't think it does.
I'm tempting
Now
fate.
we're cursed.
Yeah.
Just like that. Oh, in the eyeball. Oh.
And this is what happens when you pregame at Moo Duck before we do a podcast.
And I have just a little too much beer.
And to our friends at Moo Duck, what's up? Thank you. All right. Before we get to our main topic, though, as always, we got some shout-outs, listener feedback, brought to you by Living Among Bigfoot, the only book series that drops the 15th of every month on Amazon. Go check it out. And as we say on this show, that book series is...
Good. It's really good.
I only say that
Wow.
in very specific circumstances. When I go,
I want to start off this segment with a shout out to Saturday Adventures, Paul and Anna. They sent us a really super cool postcard with Bigfoot on the front
Oh,
because
yeah.
they were
Nice.
traveling their way down the country exploring things. Thank you guys so much for sending us a postcard. Actually, I meant to bring it into the studio to show you guys, but oh well, you'll have to see it when we're done recording.
Yep.
Thank you so very much. We heard from Mariel. Don't let, bro. Don't even start.
we will butcher that name right from the get-go.
So I recently got into paranormal things, and I honestly have to say that this podcast has helped me get into it more ever since my friend Chromos recommended it to me. It's really fun to listen to throughout the day, and you can hear the pure joy in everyone's voice. It's obvious that you truly enjoy what they're doing and talking about. Thank you so very much.
Cheers.
Definitely.
And
Thank you.
Chromos, thank you for recommending
know.
the podcast to your friends.
Chromos.
And speaking of Chromos, he had just dropped this right before we started recording.
Yep.
A picture in our Facebook group. He says, feeling cute in my new Paranormal Punchers t-shirt. Might go find a crypto to hit in the snoot.
Yes, do that, please.
He's rocking the Paranormal Punchers hashtag pudding skin shirt.
That's
that
right.
we have on T-Public. Chromos, thank you so much for your love and support, dude. And we heard from Kevin J. I prefer the paranormal life. With that being said, this is a fantastic show. Listen to it from the beginning. The first few episodes are rough, but it's great to hear the punchers find their stride. Once they do, it's loads of fun. Great job. Keep it up. Thanks, Kevin J.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And he's right. Those first couple episodes, we're still trying to find our rhythm, our voice.
Your sea legs.
I mean, episode 4, Dave didn't even show up. We had to
I
get
know.
Puck from Funk Brewing
Yeah.
to be on it. So,
Yep.
yeah.
At that point, I was still scared of a microphone and my co-hosts. So.
Aw.
Yeah. But hey, we're still going strong. And Kevin, thank you very much.
Yep.
We heard from Indiana Johnny, and he said, in one of the listener stories in this week's episode, we're all laughing at the dog destroying a toy I gave her, and now we must take it from her because she is
Absolutely destroying this thing. Wow.
just throw it in the garbage.
Wow.
I gave her
moly.
a toy football, and it is now all over the place down here in the basement studio.
So if you heard any errant sounds, that was not coming from me. I promise it was not coming from me.
This dog is something special, I'll tell you that.
She says hi to Dingo.
Yeah.
That's right.
All right, let's try to get back on track here, dog. And one of the listener stories in this week's episode, they mentioned that they would open doors, and it was like there was something in the way that would stop the door, and they would look, and there wasn't anything there. I had something like that happen to me, and I think I had told you about it before. I was at work and just walked through a door. I was closing the door behind me because I was supposed to close the door quietly. As I pulled it shut, the door suddenly stopped, like somebody had grabbed it and was keeping me from closing it. And then all of a sudden it went loose again. But when I turned around, there was no one there. It's like there was nothing there that would have stopped it. There was another time this last winter that I was working by myself in the area by the door. I saw someone walk through the door. He closed the door behind him, and I heard it click closed. He walked away. He was on his way to a break, and I heard the door open and looked to see who it was. There was no one there. No one was even near the door. I had to get up and close the door myself. That was a lot for me to stumble through. Sorry about that, Indiana Johnny. Yeah, you guys got the gist of that, right?
Sure.
Oh, yeah.
I did.
Yeah. Oh, no, it sounded great.
Shut up, man.
It's better than when I read. I can guarantee that. It's so much better.
And we heard from the official psychic medium of Paranormal Punchers. That would be the always amazing Rhonda Del Baccio. Mm-hmm. Okay, here's a message to Mr. Anonymous from episode 65, who shared his traumatic memory. You might have experienced a loop. Sometimes the dead can get stuck and relive whatever happened to them, or sometimes it could just be the energy echo, but not actually the dead still there. Truly sucks that happened to you, and that people thought you were crazy. But it could be that a little girl was hit by a car on that road, and that you're just sensitive enough and unlucky enough to have picked up on it. You obviously have some level of ability because you picked up on such a specific and had the feeling of the body going into the car. So yeah, maybe he doesn't realize that he is sensitive.
Yeah.
Right.
And Rhonda says, "I love being the official psychic medium of Paranormal Punches." Rhonda, thank you so much, Mr. Anonymous. Hopefully you listen to this and hear that. Rhonda, thank you for the advice.
Oh, yeah.
As always, we love you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I would imagine that being sensitive is kind of more of a spectrum situation. It's like some people are definitely extremely sensitive to the point that they're aware of it, whereas other people can just, things happen more frequently. We've had so many stories where people have situations happen to them, and it's just more and more frequently that they have all of these different scenarios happen. So maybe they're just more sensitive versus less sensitive. I don't know, but either way, it's fantastic that they can you all feel comfortable enough to come in and share, because we're welcome of all of those. That's fantastic. Thank you.
Do you? So now it's like there's probably people that have experiences like that.
Right.
They don't even realize they're sensitive.
Right.
They're
exactly.
freaking out. They don't. Yeah. So, boy, if Rhonda could help people understand that they might have a gift.
Exactly. Whether it's a huge gift and they're really aware of it and can utilize it, or it's just something small where they notice things out of the
Like it pops up every once in a while.
exactly, or they hear something late at night and it's not much, or like when you guys were talking about when you're going to bed and you see a shadow man on the corner or something like that, to where you're a little sensitive and things happen and you're aware of them, versus like Rhonda, where she knows when things are happening. There's a spectrum involved, and I really love that we can receive all of these comments and situations and talk about them. It's fantastic.
Yeah. Yeah. And speaking of the Shadow Man, we'll get to that in Indrid Cold.
Yeah.
Right.
It might not have been some weird spirit. Mm-hmm. Could have been Mr. Cold. We heard from Sean Z in reference to the Summer Wind Mansion episode, which he recommended we check out. Sean said, "This episode was epic. You did great justice. Thank you, P-Punchers. And glad Dave made it out of the hollow earth." I know, we were too.
Great to be part of it.
Thanks, Sean.
Yep.
We heard from Stacy. "If you guys decide to travel to Missouri, hit me up. I run a paranormal team and would be happy to take you guys on an investigation. Plus, if you decide to do an episode on the Sally House, I am friends with the tour guide and could get you in touch."
Oh, that's fantastic. That would
be awesome. Yeah, thanks, Stacy.
Yeah.
Stacy also bought the comic book a few months ago. Hope you
Nice.
enjoyed it. Thank you so much for your love and support. All right, we heard from, this was on Instagram, actually,
Yeah.
by Let's Go Run with Wind. Let's _go_run_with_wind. I probably don't need to do that. Let's go run with wind. I don't know why people think Robert the Doll is scary, because he's not scary. And we replied, there are some people who are terrified of dolls in general. And Let's Go replied, but I'm not, because I am the master of dolls. Well, thanks. We heard from Christina, and she said just got her first Parabox monthly shirt. Now let's see if I can figure out the puzzle. I hope you solved the puzzle. I got my shirt too from Parabox Monthly.
Yeah.
I did not do the mystery yet. I immediately just wore the shirt
I'm
because
pretty
it's awesome.
sure you tasked me with trying to figure it out.
Yeah, I threw
right?
the mystery card to you. I put the shirt on and just walked around the house like, yeah. Because the designs are super awesome. Hey, paraboxmonthly.com. Use our code Punchers. Save 10% off your subscription.
Yep.
Nice.
Wasn't planning on putting a little plug in right there, but it was perfect. All right, and we have a story from our buddy Will. We're going to save that for the second half. So thank you, everyone, for sending in your feedback, your ideas, your topics, whatevers. You're awesome. You make the show. You definitely make the show.
Definitely.
If you want to hit us up, paranormalpunchers.com. Send us stuff.
Send us stuff. I got to turn this doll head around here. It's been
Okay.
staring at me
Is
the
it
whole
freaking
time.
you out?
It's got to look at Mark here for just a little while.
You know it's still watching you.
Yeah, I know.
You always feel like
Somebody's watching me.
we are not singing on this show.
Yeah.
No.
All right, so we're going to jump into our main topic. We're going to talk about this mysterious stranger called Indrid Cold.
Yep.
It might be from another planet. I think so.
It might be from another planet.
Maybe. So, I'm going to let Alicia introduce everybody to Mr. Cold.
Okay. Well, he first showed up in 1966. What was it? New Jersey.
So maybe, I'll
know.
introduce
You should do
everybody.
it. You should do it.
I'm kidding.
know.
Go for it, dear.
And Mount Pleasant. I think those were the two,
Right,
the
right.
big ones or whatever. But he is this human-like appearing guy with this big grin on his face.
Like abnormally large grin.
Yes.
Joker almost.
I feel like people talk about him being like super tall as well. Some say he has hair. Some say he's bald. Like there's differing like accounts.
Yeah, some say he's super tan.
Yeah,
Right,
and some
right.
say pale.
Some say pale.
Yeah. There have been people saying he's wearing a blue metallic suit. Others have said it's green. Some say plaid. But it's always made of some kind of...
This guy's a fashion disaster.
Right. It's always made of some kind of shiny, like, reflective material.
Okay.
Or Pioneer.
So there's the possibility it's not just one person. Cold could be a multitude of.
You introduced that too soon.
I know.
I was going to say, wow, you just took me. Hold on.
Say some theories for the end.
Oh, yeah.
Now, why don't we jump into the first reported sighting of this mystery man? That would be October 16th, 1966, in the state right next to us.
Yep.
That would be New Jersey.
New Jersey.
Lish?
Sure. There were two young men or older, like teen boys or whatever, James Yanchitis and Marvin Munoz.
Munav? Martin? He went by Mouse.
Yeah, he went by Mouse.
Martin Mouse.
Mouse and Jimmy.
They were walking home one night around 4th Street in Elizabeth, New Jersey, and Yanchitis noticed a weird man. He was standing behind that fence, he told investigators. I don't know how he got there, but he was the biggest man I've ever seen. They said that he was over 6 feet tall and dressed in a sparkling green coverall costume that shimmered. But he also had a wide black belt. They could not remember seeing any hair, ears, or nose on him.
Wow. Voldemort.
Right. He pivoted around and looked right at us. And then he grinned a big old grin. The boys, they ran off as soon as they saw him. And he saw them. That's all I have.
The boys took off. We are out of here.
Yeah. I have that UFO sightings were also reported in the area at the same time.
Yes.
Right. I'm starting to wonder if he's what do you call it, like an emissary? He comes 1st, checks things out.
Silver Surfer type
Right.
dude.
Yeah.
Now, during the same period of time on that same street and on the same night, there was a resident in the area that was chased by a tall green man. So I don't know if it's the same entity or what, but yeah, I did have there was a UFO report. Blazing white light as big as a car almost hit this television tower. And a policeman and his wife, they actually witnessed it going on a slow arc north until it disappeared over some hills. And then on the other side of those hills, 2 other people actually saw it. And the one guy said that it was so brilliantly white that it blinded him for about 20 minutes. He couldn't see.
Wow.
Yeah.
So only Mouse and Jimmy saw the grinning man.
Yeah.
But a lot of people
Saw the ship. Or,
Yeah.
Right. Or something ship-like, come over the mountains or go over the
and
mountains.
that one dude was chased by a tall green man.
Yeah.
That doesn't actually fit the description
But no,
that Jimmy and Mouse gave.
they said he was a tall man in a metal green suit.
Yeah.
So, when you're under duress, you're not
And
going
you're
to
running
realize-
away.
Yeah, you're not going to remember all the details. Yeah, he was a green man.
Okay.
Without ears and
Yeah.
eyes.
His
What did I say?
his salesman face mask on.
Right.
Now we cut to 1 month later. November 2nd, 1966. In our favorite state,
Of all time.
West Virginia. This would be Parksburg, West Virginia. This is where dude Woodrow Derenberger, who
He
would
goes by Woody.
Woody. This is where Woody had his run in on Interstate 77.
So a vehicle raced up behind him, cut in front of him, and turned sideways and stopped. So he had to stop when he was driving. The car looked like an old-fashioned kerosene lamp chimney. I had to look it up because I was like, I don't even know what that is. But it kind of it would look like a UFO, I think, if you look it up.
A kerosene lamp chimney.
Yeah,
What did you say?
kerosene lamp chimney. But yeah, it stopped on the road, so he stopped as well, and a door slid open. So a man stepped out wearing a dark overcoat with a glistening green uniform underneath, and he was grinning.
Well, yeah, he just climbed out of the ship. It was kind of tight in there, you know?
He had a deep tan, and he had dark hair that was swept back. And his arms were folded with both, like, underneath his armpits.
And I thought I came across that also with Mouse and Jimmy.
Oh, okay.
I found another report where they talked about, now that's weird, just holding his hands underneath his armpits. There was a movie where or a Saturday Night Live skit. Oh, it was a Saturday Night Live skit where she would hold her, her hands in her armpits, and then she pull them out.
That was
smell
a cheerleader.
So is the Grinning Man doing that?
I don't know. Or was he hiding his hands? But anyway, but he started walking towards Woody in his vehicle. The craft that he was in, actually, it like shot up into the air, about like 40 feet in the air, and it just stayed floating. The man communicated with him, not like actually speaking words, but he was telepathically trying to say, like, I want to talk to you. Roll down your window.
Right.
You do not need to be afraid. My name is Cold.
Indrid Cold.
Well, he said his name is Cold. I'm not sure where Indrid Cold, like Indrid, came from. Like, I think that came later.
So the thing that I have on this story is he said the full name of Indrid Cold.
Okay.
Then he also said, we are just like you.
Yeah.
We breathe air like you.
We're flesh and blood like you.
Yeah.
Yep.
We're not here to hurt you.
Yes.
Yep.
The whole time.
If anybody ever says that to you.
If somebody was looking at you with a giant grin,
right,
but you were hearing their thoughts in your head, you
right.
would definitely, I mean, I would freak out a little bit.
you just put the little lock button on your car and you hit the accelerator and you drive away really fast and you're like, all right, I'll see you later. Thanks.
I mean, that would be
even
weird.
if it happens to be over the person.
Semantics, you know?
He was smiling too much. I had to run.
Yeah, it was really weird.
So he told Woody that he came from a place that's less powerful than the United States. And then he asked them, like, what are these distant lights over here? He pointed, like, actually, I don't think he pointed. He gave an indication.
Yeah, it'd be hard to point while his hands are tucked under his armpits.
You can do it with like your elbows.
With his elbow.
You can kind of like notion that way over there.
But he was like, what is that? What are those lights? And Woody responded with, well, that's Parkersburg. We call that a city. And Cold responded with, where I come from, we call it a gathering. He asked Woody if he had a job. And Woody said, I'm a salesman.
What alien comes in like, you got a job?
You got a job?
Well, I feel like
such a random question.
Do you have a steady income coming in? Because we're going to have a discussion on this.
maybe he's investigating, you know? Like,
Okay.
who are these people? We need to know who they are. I don't know.
I'm like, all right, so this guy has a flying saucer, essentially.
Right,
He
right.
lands the ship in front of this dude, and he gets out like, I'm from a place that's not as powerful as America. But but we don't have we don't have a ship that looks like that. It's just so bizarre.
And are you employed? Because, I'm looking around in the area.
right.
Yeah.
So he asked what he does. He said he's a salesman. And Cold responded that his job is searcher. So I'm assuming that he has to go out and search.
Like a talent recruit kind of a thing.
Right.
Going to
maybe.
football games,
Sure.
highways, looking for people, baseball games, things like that.
But before they were done, he encouraged Woody to tell the authorities about, this encounter, let them know what happened. And then the Grinning Man said that they would visit him again.
Right, a couple more times or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the craft came back down from the air. The hatch opened. A human arm actually extended from the craft, pulled Cold up into the craft, and then the ship just jetted off, like making a fluttering noise, and then it went at like a high rate of speed.
So I'm imagining that as like a parent grabbing their kid going, come on, we got to go, or something like that, grabbing them from the highway, whatever that might be. I don't know, or like a large vaudeville hook.
See, now I thought the arm he was referring to didn't like. You guys saying he grabbed Indrid and pulled it in?
Yeah.
I read that it reached out to grab the door and shut the door. It didn't grab Indrid; it had to shut the door.
Okay.
That apparently made like a very metallic, loud chunk.
Okay.
And that's what. Why? I thought somebody was laughing.
That was me. I'm sorry.
I'm like, ka-chunk. You know, it's like, man, that sounds like steel and like very heavy material.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's what I feel like, because I found a 30-minute interview with Woody Derenberger on YouTube, and I feel like he described that when that arm came out, it was to grab the door and just shut this massive door that sounded like just thick steel. Like,
I wonder if the arm was all swole or it was like a minivan kind of a door.
I don't know.
I don't think the description of Indrid Cold does not sound like anything swole.
Right.
Yeah, they're not lifting weights with their hands tucked in their armpits.
Right.
They're like 6 foot and lanky and just smile a lot.
Huh. Okay.
They're not working out.
They're not huge coached. They're not any of that. They're just okay.
So on the very same night that this happened, and on the same very road, 2 other men actually saw an elongated object land in front of their car. They were also forced to stop, and they watched as the man disembarked and headed their way. He wore a dark coat and folded both arms in such a way that they thought it was very uncomfortable. He asked both men questions that seemed very pointless to them before he returned to his craft and then just took off. So it wasn't just Woody that night. There was a couple other people actually witnessed this.
So the questions weren't specific towards Woody. They were just like a general interview questions.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
Oh, okay.
So one of the things I found was that he had told Woody that I'm interested in the human race and I want to find out more. So the questions were more of a general sense, just to get some basic information, to get started on research.
But why? So I still go back to the whole question of, do you have a job? that was my big thing. So why would you got a job, man?
Yeah.
Hey, you got some money, or are you gainfully employed? Or are you like bona fide, or I don't know that. Why would an alien want to know that? I don't know.
Maybe he was gonna maybe he wanted to interview him, take him on a trip. I don't know.
Take him on a trip.
I'm sure he's making conversation. Here's the thing, like, maybe he was. I want to get to this after.
Yeah.
But maybe he was doing what he thought human beings did.
Mm-hmm. Oh, like
human
they're greeting.
beings make small talk.
Correct. And in that small talk,
I'm going to make. And everybody always asks, like, so what do you do for a living?
That's right. We do define ourselves as people, as what we do.
Like, if you can count the 5 top things that people bring up in small talk, it's like the weather.
Right.
What do you do for a living?
Mm-hmm.
Sports.
Did you see that new movie? Yeah, sports. You like the Eagles? No.
Right. And how big is your bicycle seat? That's the 5 top things, right, that come up in a conversation in small talk. Oh, wait a minute. You guys don't talk about that? Oh, well, there you go. Huh.
You didn't make me feel good with that comment. This in an article, October 1966. There's an article by Ray Palmer called
The Ant-Man?
No, in a magazine called Flying Saucer Magazine.
What?
And he talked to Derenberger's wife, and she had some statements to make. She said, "They aren't making contact only around here.
Mm-hmm.
They are doing this all over the country, but they find the people in West Virginia more receptive."
Mm-hmm.
Well, yeah, they've been put through the ringer over so many years. Oh, my gosh, there's so much stuff that happens in West Virginia. People are like, it's aliens again, whatever. Mm-hmm. Right? They're just like, well, there's a cave, there's an alien, there's a reptilian, there's a Bigfoot, there's more aliens, there's mind control and time travel. Whatever. Sure. Yeah, I have a job.
Okay. Also, she said, It was at the second meeting, the night of November 4th, that Cold told me about himself. He was from a planet called Lanulos, located near the galaxy Ganymedes.
Ganymede?
Okay.
Ganymede?
Is that
Ganymedes?
I didn't know if that was Ganymede or something different.
Yeah.
I have a whole thing on that, but
All right, let me finish this and you can tell us.
Yeah.
They have woods, streams, fields, oceans, the same as we do.
Mm-hmm.
They've taken samples of our vegetation, our animals. Ours are much like theirs. Cold is married. His wife is named Kimi and has 2 sons at this time. So that's, again, this is from the same article. That's what you just said. You want to give us more information about Ganymedes?
So Ganymede is a moon of Jupiter. There is no galaxy 14.6 light years from Earth. Nothing is that close. The closest one, Andromeda, is much further away. And so it's a question of what exactly was being talked about here. You know, you're talking about a moon to one of our planets versus an actual galaxy with a planet inside the galaxy. One of the interesting concepts that I came up with is that he also said he was a time traveler.
Right. She says that in the article.
And that from that, the concept is, well, what if what we call the moon of Jupiter was actually the planet in a previous lifetime of our galaxy?
Right.
And that is where they were from. And
it survived whatever change happened.
Exactly. That was like a precursor to Earth.
Right.
And
she called him in that article a space brother.
Yeah.
And time traveler.
Yeah.
Ooh.
So there's a lot of opportunities there, but if you just take literal of what was described, it does not make sense.
You're saying
in this relevant time that we're in
right,
now.
Exactly.
Right.
Scientifically.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Like if you
Not-
said right now that I'm from a planet in a galaxy 14.6 light years from Earth, we don't have anything like that. Like, you know, we've done pretty good mapping of all that stuff. There's no galaxies that close.
Right.
But in that article, also, all right, I'm just going to read the quote.
Okay.
In the 4th dimension, that's right, what he said. In the 4th dimension, one reason they can't stay here too long at a time is because they get younger down here instead of older. Their lifespan is 125 to 175 years. But if they stayed here too long, I think they'd go back in years and possibly forget how to manipulate their craft.
Oh.
Like Benjamin Button kind of a thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Benjamin Button mixed in the pudding skin. And Mirror Universe. Okay. That's a complex mixture.
Now, before we get too deep down in our opinions and theories, there's one other sighting of note.
Yes.
And this one's different.
Yeah, it's about in the same time frame. I couldn't find an exact date, but I'm pretty sure it's in 1966. So in Point Pleasant, the Lilly family, they claim to see strange lights in the sky right above their home, at least every night, and experience strange things in their house. Mrs. Lilly said, "We've seen all kinds of strange things. Blue lights, green ones, red ones. Things that change color. Some have been so low that we thought we could see diamond-shaped windows in them. And none of them make any noise at all. Automobiles near the Lilly home would stall for no reason. Kitchen cabinets and doors inside the Lilly home would slam inexplicably in the middle of the night. And Mrs. Lilly said that sometimes she would hear the sound of a baby crying throughout the inside of the house.
But her stuff was more like poltergeist, right? That was more...
No, their daughter said
Yeah.
it was a man, a big man, very broad. I couldn't see his face very well, but I could see that he was grinning at me. He walked around the bed and stood right over me.
Yeah.
I screamed again and hid under the covers. When I looked again, he was gone.
Right.
Oh, thank goodness.
So this is also, what she saw with all the poltergeist activity and there's
Right.
lights.
Yeah.
She saw this shadowy figure. She did manage to see a grin But some people are wondering, like, people talk about seeing a shadow figure
Right.
with a hat. Now, this is very important.
Correct.
Yeah.
With a hat, like at the foot of their bed or in the corner while they're in their bedroom watching, which we describe.
Or sacrificing your wife towards.
Yeah.
Right.
As you roll over, go back to sleep. Right, yeah.
So maybe we didn't see a shadow person. Maybe it's Indrid Cold and the aliens just still watching, still observing,
Yeah.
trying to learn how to become more human so they can assimilate.
What if over time the Indrid Cold persona, because I imagine the persona, him or herself or whatever Indrid Cold is kind of like a spacesuit almost. It's a persona that something else would don this persona so that they could survive in our environment or whatever that is. So when we look at this creature, we see Indrid Cold. But what if that has changed due to whatever circumstances we have on our planet? Whether increased global warming or the environment changing a little bit to where it's more like what you were saying, Mark, about like a shadow man or something like that with a hat. Maybe they needed something else besides this grinning man mask. And now they're visiting in this other persona, the shadow man in the corner or something like that, where we don't see the grinning man anymore because it wasn't that effective or it lost its ability to keep our environment out, hurting these other creatures. I don't know. I see it as like an Edgar suit kind of a thing.
I don't know where you were going with that one.
Well, because we have a lot of like occurrences of the shadow men, and so
But we have no other reports of Indrid Cold.
So in the Indrid Cold,
That was it. That was the three.
oh wait,
Uh-oh.
here we go. What?
I don't have a whole lot, but somebody had mentioned in an article that I read that there were other sporadic sightings for a while. In 1966 and 67, in Provincetown, Massachusetts, there was a similar, there were sightings of a similar entity. And then there was also a sighting in Italy in 1978. And then there was a couple other ones after that, but nothing, they didn't actually give me details on those sightings or what the sightings were. So.
Now, I want to mention this. 10 days after Woody had his confrontation or his run-in with Indrid Cold, that's when we had the Mothman sightings in Point Pleasant.
Right.
So were they tied together?
Right.
Is Indrid the Mothman? Is Indrid, again, an emissary? He came first, and then the Mothman came. Are they of the same?
Yeah, was
Species,
it coincidental
planet.
or
Right.
was it planned or
Or was it coincidental?
right?
Yeah.
Or is Indrid Cold? What if they're like watchers? And he was there because there was things. Hey,
We're just a little early.
Yeah.
We know these things are going to happen. Right.
Well, I'm wondering with the whole poltergeist aspect of it, of, okay, well, initial technology, initial interaction with Earth,
Right.
our technology, our engineering causes these effects, and it causes humans to notice us more or be freaked out or whatnot. So through their interactions, they've evolved and
Right.
they've gotten to the point where, our spaceship coming down no longer rattles the cabinet.
It's lost
And-
effectiveness.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And, they can come in and hang out in a bedroom, but they're not going to stand there smiling and such.
And
they're going to be more of a
creepily.
shadow.
Exactly.
As opposed to, it makes you wonder of, from initial interaction, okay, well, humans smile when they're happy. So if we're going to come in and start to investigate them, well, we're going to smile with them.
Right.
And, they wouldn't know that, smiling too big is kind of a
Right.
telltale to weirdness. And,
right. Do you know what the uncanny valley? You know what that is?
I don't.
So they're building these robots that look human, but we get this sensation, though it looks human. We're unsettled by the fact that it's not. It's just not right.
Right.
It's off.
Right.
So it sort of looks human,
Right.
but I got this really uneasy feeling because something's just not right.
Right.
God.
So you got this alien coming down. Mm-hmm. And, all right, so they look like this. Mm-hmm. I mean, this is Indrid Cold talking. So they look like this. I'm going to...
Oh, wow. You're going that way.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, when we first landed in New Jersey. Yeah, going to do this. And they see when they're happy, they smile at each other. So they're going to put this big smile on.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
So they're like, this is what humans look like. In 1966, I don't know what the clothing attire was that they would be like. Was it groovy?
It was groovy.
So they're like, yeah, blue metallic suit, bam. Put that smile on, bro. Slick back your hair. You're going to pass.
Yep.
They'll never know, and
Right.
they're going to want to hang out with you. But so that creepy smile that everybody that talks about, or
Right.
maybe, and I'm not the only one that thinks this. I've heard this on other podcasts. I found a bunch of comments in feeds talking about Indrid Cold.
Okay.
People were wondering, like, they're just trying. The smile is so bizarre because they think I'm looking human, right? I'm smiling at
Correct.
you.
Correct.
So please feel
put you at ease.
comfortable.
Yeah.
But it's not because we're like, you're not quite human.
Right.
And what if they made this bizarre story up from this 14.6 light years away? It could just be reptilian shapeshifters.
Oh, God.
And they did some of these, so they're just making up stories, messing
That's
with
true.
people's minds.
Well, that's what.
Not quite right on their shape shifting. So people are like, "There's something."
Well, that's
wrong
why.
with you.
That's why I'm half thinking that the Shadow Men are the same creatures, because they realize that the effectiveness of the smile, that people are like, "Yo, that doesn't look right." That looks weird. So they
Could you imagine
change their
something
outfit.
smiling at you, thinking this is how humans show that they're friendly.
Correct.
They smile at each other.
Yeah.
And this big smile, you're like, "Oh, that guy's going to murder me."
Right, exactly. So if you were the person donning this suit with the smile, and you're like, okay, this is not getting the reaction that we were hoping for,
Right.
you would change it. You would change your uniform, what you're presenting to people, and even your MO on how you present it. So that's why I'm thinking that they might be the Shadow Men showing up when you're in and out of sleep, because they can still pick up behavior, they can still witness you, but they might be slightly different looking to us than what they were back in the day.
Before we go down this road, I want to finish up Woody's story because he was the one. He wrote a book. He was the one that had the most encounters because that night on Route 77 was not the only. They came
Right.
back.
Yeah.
They came back, right?
They came back. They took him in the ship. They were like best bros. He even Indrid Cold introduced him to his navigator. I have it right here. His navigator's name was Carl Ardos. Did you have that?
Carl Ardo and Demo Hassan.
Who's
were-
Demo?
Demo was another guy that Grinning Man that would show up, and even Woody's wife was like, I met them both.
I'm just like, man, that's a great name.
Yeah.
Who's your friend? Demo.
Demo?
Demo Hassan.
Yeah.
Sounds like they're putting the A team together.
Right.
But yeah, so that was the thing. Like Woody and his wife, they actually divorced. They did not get along anymore. But she still, like, up until a certain point, I don't know if she's still alive. She might be dead. But she never backed down. Like, she actually was talking about, like, she met Indrid. She met these other two guys. Like, she met these grinning men.
Demo and Crazy Carl.
Yeah.
And
right.
it's not like Woody. It's not like he got a lot of fame from this, but he never
No.
wavered from his story.
Never.
It's not like he became a millionaire from selling his books or anything. But his conviction to this story
Yeah.
was huge. Now, to wrap it up, at one point, Woody went to a psychiatrist because he was just like, man,
Something's
this
wrong.
is a lot because
Yeah. Right.
Indrid Cold would show up or not even show up sometimes. He would start talking to Woody telepathically. He just Woody would get this weird sensation and then start getting this conversations had from Indrid.
Like a data dump.
So
kind of
he
thing.
went.
Wow.
He went to a psychiatrist. just to get a eval on his mental health, because like this would freak all of us out to start getting psychic messages in our head.
It wouldn't be so bad.
But it could freak you out. And
Yeah,
you
it
might
would
want to
totally
talk
freak
to
me out.
somebody.
Maybe if it happened at inopportune times.
It would freak you out, and you might want to talk to somebody,
Right.
like Woody did. But the doctor couldn't really. It was nothing the psychiatrist thought abnormal about it. And then after he had met with Woody and they had discussed, the reasons he was there, the doctor claimed that he was started getting psychic messages now.
Oh, really?
Yes.
So that the smiling man could now talk to the doctor.
He never talked about what Indrid, I'm assuming it had to be Indrid, said to him, the doctor. And that's as far as the doctor ever went with it. He didn't write a book. He didn't do anything. But he just but after Woody and their conversation, then Indrid apparently also talked to him a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think with the now this is in West Virginia that
Mountain Mama.
Okay. That maybe it wasn't necessarily okay. So I got thinking, okay, well, if it's telepathic, who's sending it, and how are they sending the telepathic messages? Is it through their mind, or is it like through like a microphone, like we're talking right now,
Right.
to send these messages that could be converted into a telepathic wave to be picked up? Now we know of some hardware that can do that, right? The Montauk Project.
Oh, I was like, where are you going with this? Yeah.
Right? But, the time frame, I'm thinking to myself, okay, so what if the Grinning Man, because the Montauk Project was a human alien, like a joint project.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a collaboration kind of a thing. Dave, you
Hybrid,
thank you. Oh my gosh, right. So what I'm thinking is, what if it wasn't a telepathy? They needed to meet with, what's his name? Woodrow.
Woody.
That's a funny name. I like that name.
Somebody put a rattlesnake in my boot or whatever. Woody from Toy Story.
Okay. Okay.
Sorry.
Right. But what I'm just imagining somebody on the other side of a mic. So maybe it wasn't Indrid who was contacting, not Woody, because they'd already had a relationship and he could establish, yes, it was Indrid that was talking to Woody. Woody could tell that. But to the psychiatrist or the psychologist, he or she started receiving messages. What if that was like Crazy Carl? What if that was somebody else on the other side of the mic, right? And then I was like, wait a minute, this is in West Virginia where the Montauk Project was nearby.
I would have called the Montauk Project nearby.
Yeah, that was in New York
Montauk's
City.
up in Long Island.
Yeah.
Okay.
New York.
Okay.
I mean, yeah, it's closer than California to West Virginia.
But they had a dude in a chair who was
Jersey was the first sighting.
Right.
True.
Yeah,
Okay,
that's
Dave.
Yeah.
Stepping in.
Thank
helping
you,
out.
Dave.
Thank
right
you.
on. Right
Not
on.
necessarily agreeing with him. Don't get me wrong.
I just imagine.
I just don't want you to get slammed on facts and comments in this episode.
Right. Fact check the whole thing. I'm just envisioning.
Nobody fact checks us.
Right, you're right.
We fact check ourselves barely.
Barely. Somebody sitting on the other side of the mic saying, okay, hold on. Indrid, Woodrow knows you. You're with Indrid. I'm going to talk to the psychiatrist. Let's give it over to the demo or over to Crazy Carl, because who knows what Crazy Carl's going to say. So they had enough operatives on the back end to be able.
Crazy Carl?
Yeah.
He was the ship operator who was buddies with Indrid.
Carl,
Oh, his navigator.
Ardo.
His navigator. Yeah.
Well, all of a sudden, he's Crazy Carl.
It's Crazy Carl. Crazy Carl's like, hey, you know what? I haven't been talking to anybody really. Let me jump on the mic and talk to this guy.
Okay.
I had no idea what's happening right now. We're going to take a break. We're going to figure it out. And we'll come back. We're going to sort this problem out.
Yeah.
And we're back. Woo, doggy. That Did we even explain Indrid Cold properly?
I think we did.
Because we were starting to
pretty good.
get a little crazy when, with Crazy Carl.
Crazy Carl shows up. You never know what's going to happen.
Right.
When he's flying the ship, you just never know.
Now, all right, so I want to throw out some stuff that I found on comments on Reddit
Okay.
and some other boards about Indrid Cold and just see what you guys think. So I'm going to read it out.
Like a Q&A.
Yeah.
Wow,
And then
it's like a lightning
I want
round.
you guys to give me your opinions based on, this comment. All right, so the first one is, why are you laughing?
I'm so excited. I haven't been in a lightning round in so long.
Because Reddit comments have never been inflammatory or off the wall.
No, these are okay. I handpicked, I curated this list.
You pre-screened.
What if Indrid Cold is a clone made by aliens?
Ooh.
No.
A clone of what?
That's what I'm saying.
Humans. That's why he doesn't look
No.
100% natural.
But
and
a clone,
with a smile.
a clone will look 100%. It just won't act 100%.
Correct.
Which is why it's grinning.
But it sounds like this grin is
abnormally large.
Yes.
Like
Oh,
Joker-like.
okay.
It's a whole, like, freakishly large grinning man. Because the whole thing was about him grinning or smiling.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, a clone's going to be just a small bit of degradation from one copy to the next. No, sorry.
Okay.
No.
Okay.
Number 2, maybe Indrid and others like him are AI, sent by aliens as scouts to gather information about humans. But due to misunderstandings and misconceptions, the design was warped and appeared threatening instead of friendly as first intended. That would explain why Indrid grinned at the boy when he saw them. He was programmed to appear as friendly as possible.
What do you think, Dave?
the theory I haven't yet said anything about is similar to that. I kind of am close to that one.
Okay.
AI, I'm on the fence about that one.
Remote operations kind of a thing, maybe?
Well, but so on the one hand, robotics get us so far
Right.
with what we can do, but on the other hand, they have so many problems.
Correct.
So I don't know that AI would be the best thing. If you're an alien race and you're going to send an AI into Earth, it
could be tricky.
hit or miss. Yeah,
Yeah, but if so say I kind of like this. I kind of like this philosophy or this theory anyway, because because it could be like remote controlled kind of a thing.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, when I think of us going to another planet and checking it out, I think that those machines that we send are more insect-like. Mm-hmm. They're able to crawl over whatever terrain and whatnot because we kind of know their terrain, whereas it's rocky ravines or dirt or who knows what. But they know that we have people here, so they're going to make their machines very similar or as close as they can approximate to what we will accept. I kind of like that theory. That's a solid theory. I like that.
Liz, you have anything on that?
No. Sorry.
Dave, any more on that?
Nope.
Okay. All right.
But they chose all dudes.
As far as we know.
Yeah. Right. What do you say?
This could be happening all over.
Like Cylons almost.
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
Right.
Oh.
Yeah.
All right, so number 3. Indrid Cold was a military person doing experiments on people for what reasons, I don't know.
Okay.
Possible.
And I'm going to summarize this. So this theory is it was military men in black doing experiments. That's why you have people that say they were abducted.
Okay.
Because they were kidnapped, drugged. A lot of things happened to them. And then dumped back to their regular life. And like, oh, my God, I'm missing time. What's happening? And one reason we don't hear a lot about Indrid Cold or even UFO sightings like they happened back in the 60s is because the military abandoned this experiment.
Okay.
Okay, Dave?
There you go.
You're asking for my comments on that theory?
Yes, I'm asking your comments on that theory.
Certainly possible. Nothing that we've really heard sounds totally out of human realm possible. If you're going to do some kind of an experiment, you wouldn't want to just be like, I'm so-and-so from the local army base, can I get your opinion on this? It's not just a census or anything like that. So it sounds plausible.
So some of the possible explanations that I came across, one was, is it a hoax?
Right.
2, aliens, and then the third one was Men in Black.
Okay.
Like people are talking about this, like because even Woody, he had men come up and ask him like simple questions, asking about the experience that he had, but he didn't really know who these people were. They asked these questions and then left.
Okay.
So he was like, I'm not really sure. Were they trying to figure out what experience I had with these UFOs or aliens, or were they part of it? And they were, I don't know.
So that sounds like the Men in Black are made up of these weird grinning men from another planet?
Yeah, that was one of the theories, was that they're part of it.
And not Will Smith and Tommy Lee Jones?
No, I have a feeling
Josh
that's
Brolin.
probably not
Nash
how it
probably
is.
hates that movie, too.
Josh Brolin.
Well, it wasn't bad.
Back then, it would be Josh Brolin.
Josh Brolin.
That's
yeah.
true. That's true.
All right.
Right.
Because everybody remembers Men in Black 3.
Yeah. How can you not?
Interesting.
I kind of like the Men in Black from a different planet. I kind of dig on that.
You remember when we talked about, I don't know what episode it was, we were talking about the black-eyed kids.
Yeah, way back when.
And there was one story where these kids entered, they something about their parents, but they let them in, and the guy had ill effects from the kids being in the house.
Right.
But when they left, the dude's wife said they got into a black car with these tall dudes in black suits that said nothing. So,
Like, are the Men in Black, are they like an organization in this country, world, whatever, that are actually trying to keep track of some of this weird stuff that happens?
Or are they?
They
like recon from another planet?
Right. That's what I'm wondering. But
are they even? Are they even good?
right,
We don't know.
So far.
indifferent, good, bad. What
But-
are they? Yeah.
Back to what you
They
were
have
saying,
their own
Mark.
agenda,
Right.
Go ahead, Nash.
Now you were saying that they were our military. The question, the thread that you had followed was: are they our military operatives? Gathering resources or talking to people, whatnot. I don't necessarily agree with that, but I do kind of agree with what you're saying, Alicia. Is that yes, they could be, just not for our military, but maybe
for somebody else.
for somebody else, like somebody off world. I'm kind of settling with the whole idea of they're trying to approximate what we look like and what we do.
Right.
Yeah, that's I'm going to go with that.
Okay.
Now,
Aliens for 400, Bob.
Now, Woody Derenberger, he's one who has the most to say, and he wrote a book all about Indrid Cold. He's the core of this story.
Right.
He died in 1990, I think. Let me.
Was it 90 or 80? I can't remember.
1990.
Okay.
His daughter, who also wrote a book more about Indrid Cold, she said that Indrid was at his funeral.
Yeah.
Wow. Was he smiling?
I hope not.
I really hope not.
Yeah.
You would definitely stand out if you were smiling when everybody else is somber.
Right.
Now there was I did come across a picture. What it was supposed to be Indrid Cold, but it was just like some dude in a hat and sunglasses. Did you see that picture?
And not smiling at all.
And not smiling at all.
Okay.
Now, he didn't really seem happy. He was like, "Why are you taking?" It looked like he was in the airport or something like that. And it was.
Oh well, yeah, no. Who's happy at an airport? Yeah.
Right, exactly.
Even the grinning man, he's like, I can't muster a smile.
Can't do it.
Can't do it.
Not today, Sadie.
I just picked up my bag and I'm really done.
Right.
So, and I saw that picture and I thought, okay, well, that's just a poor schlep that got a picture taken on that they pinned this on to try to make it so that it wasn't something crazy or whatnot. But to have an unnatural smile and the metallic suit and taller than normal. Now, granted, this day and age, you get people over 6 feet all the time. You know, but back in the 60s, that was a pretty
Because of
tall.
the hormones in the chicken.
Yeah, and the beef, and the steroids in the beef,
And I
all
imagine they probably changed their outfit. They're not wearing a metallic suit.
that. Right. Well, you gotta get
Yeah.
it laundered because even smiling men
True.
get stinky from time to time. You know, they got to do all kinds of stuff.
But,
So I have a theory.
okay, do it.
Ooh.
Okay. It's a little out there, but okay. So in March of 1966, the Batman TV series premiered,
Nice.
which included the Joker
Yep.
wearing a very shiny purple,
Right.
And
suit.
a big grin.
yes, and a very big grin. Okay. In September of 1966, Star Trek premiered. Then we have October of 1966. This happens. Now, my theory here is that these television signals are being beamed around the world.
Right.
And we're not the only ones watching them.
Right.
And that what if we had an alien race that was listening to our signals, thinking this is what America is about, or humans are about, and they are able to transform themselves into holographic representation of what they see and hear and bring themselves down to learn more about us. This may sound familiar if you've seen the movie Galaxy Quest. But that really fits all of this. Of the lobster race from Galaxy Quest
Right.
are watching all our signals. They transform themselves based on what was, appropriate at the time.
What they knew about us.
And they came down and they tried to interact with us, and it didn't work because television never matches reality, and
Right.
it didn't go so well. But then they took that data and they went back, and over time they've evolved themselves to come back in other forms, such that now
I
they're more
like
integrated.
it. I like it.
I like that a lot.
That is-
Yeah.
I'm going to step that up to definitely that is exactly what's happening. No longer a theory. It's concrete. It's what's happening. It's fact.
All right.
Just like that.
Oh, boy.
Well, that. Now, Lish, if anybody is interested in anything else about Woody and his story, he wrote a book. Do you have the title of the book?
Yes, I do.
Oh, did I put you on the spot?
But it's on the ground. I'm sorry.
It's on the ground. For anybody
As we're all
listening-
rifling through our notes here. Look for the book.
When Alicia gets done with her notes, she chucks them on the ground just to get them out of her way, and that's what she was doing, picking them back up.
The book, he wrote it in 1971, and it's called Visitors from Lanalos. Lanulos. So,
And we just for research, we watched the 2002 movie, The Mothman Prophecies,
Ooh.
with Richard Gere and Laura Linney. Was she?
Laura Linney was in it,
Yeah.
yes.
I was to make sure I said that right. And
Deborah Messing was also in it.
Oh,
But Indrid Cold played a big part in that with his weird phone calls to Richard Gere.
I'll have to watch it
basically
again.
tell him I'm watching you, and I could see everything. Like Richard Gere, took his watch off and put it in his shoe and shoved the shoe under his bed. And he's like, "Where's my watch?" And Indrid Cold was like,
Indrid.
"In your show." In your shoe. Indrid. Not Ingrid.
Yeah, sorry.
Indrid. So it was really interesting. And then the other character played by the dude from Armageddon, Chick.
Bruce Willis?
No, Chick.
Oh.
wait,
What was
did you
his
say
name?
the dude from Armageddon?
You did say the dude from Armageddon Chick.
No, his name was Chick.
Yeah.
That's what it's called.
His name was Chick in Armageddon.
Wow. I'm way off
now
base.
we're, yeah, that's
Okay.
what
Now we're
calling
back
it.
on Chick.
Yeah, okay.
I
Back on
can't think
track.
of what his name. Will
Arnett?
No,
not-
I don't. I can't remember what it was,
Defoe?
but whenever I see him in other movies, I'm like, oh, it's Chick.
Well, the whole
Anyway.
point here is go look it up for
Yeah.
yourself.
And watch Armageddon.
And if we probably did a
Will
terrible,
Patton.
We definitely Will Patton.
Thank you.
I feel like we did a terrible job talking about Indrid Cold.
We were doing so well until the very end.
It's all right. Maybe Indrid Cold is here right now.
That's
boy.
right. That's right.
Now, moving on, wrapping this show up. I would like to, since we talked about Armageddon, I got to throw this out here, Nash, because you've been starting some trouble
I have.
in the Facebook group because
have.
your hatred for Twister.
It's not hatred. It's just like, oh,
There were some
gosh.
comments going on.
Yeah.
I would like to ask everybody at the table, their number one, their favorite. If you don't like Twister, but what is your favorite disaster movie? Since Twister is on the top 10
that's a
of most
tough
people's
one.
disaster movie, what do you think's better?
Big disaster movie. Oh man, that's a tough one.
Blockbuster.
Blockbuster. For a long time it was Deep Impact.
What? Solid pull, bro.
Yeah.
That was mine.
I'm telling you, that was deep.
Because it was more like a thinking man's.
Yeah, I agree with that 100% because it was more of what could actually happen.
How it would
True
be.
story.
Yeah, that was my big disaster. And then, but Armageddon came out the exact, really
year.
close together.
Yeah, almost within a month of each other.
Yeah,
right?
and so, but Armageddon
Or
was
weeks.
flashier. It had Ben Affleck.
Because
and-
Armageddon's
Right. It had the Aerosmith daughter in it,
Liv
Liv Tyler.
Oh, it was,
Yeah, whatever. I'm not a big fan of hers.
and they had a bigger marketing budget.
Yes,
Yeah,
exactly.
they crushed.
Right.
Even Deep Impact, even getting
Right. It had Morgan
SAG.
Freeman in it, for Pete's sake. I mean, come on. Who doesn't like Morgan Freeman? Do you not like Morgan Freeman?
Everybody likes Morgan.
I like Morgan Freeman.
Was he he was the president?
He was the president, yeah. And that was my disaster movie.
Good pull, Dave.
I don't know. I mean,
Morgan Freeman
Yeah, he was a president. As Presidente, you have a computer
in
right in front of
Armageddon.
you.
No.
No.
Deep Impact.
Oh my God! I know. I
Nope.
was like, what?
Stop looking things up on your tablet.
I'm sorry.
Nash's pick was
Deep Impact.
Deep
Okay.
Impact.
I'm
And
sorry.
Dave is like, I don't know.
I mean,
Oh, well, you guys know what mine is, but
I like. I guess it depends on the definition of disaster movie, but I like really
core?
all of them. Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah, you can go that direction.
What's your favorite go-to?
I mean,
If the core.
any of the following movies are on, I will watch them because
yeah.
they're all entertaining. Independence Day,
Twister
The
fan.
Core, Armageddon, Deep Impact, Twister, 2012.
2012 wasn't bad.
And the one Inconvenient, the
Inconvenient Truth.
Inconvenient Truth.
That wasn't
that's the one that they stole footage from it at the beginning. What is it called? Jake Gyllenhaal.
Day After Tomorrow.
Day After
Oh,
Tomorrow.
that was
I like
another
that
great
one,
one. That was a
yeah.
good one too. Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Lish?
Oh, well, you guys, Dave, you literally chose like every single movie
All of
that
them
I
are
love.
movie.
Yes, because
But your
as
number one.
My number one is probably Armageddon.
Yeah.
Okay.
that's okay.
I really love that movie. I watch it all the time. So
Well, I'm glad you said Deep Impact because, that movie never got
Right.
No, it
because
didn't.
Armageddon overshadowed it.
Big time.
I dig that. You had posted a clip on your rant about
Oh,
hating
yeah,
Twister
yeah.
of Dante's Peak.
That was another good
Yeah.
That
one.
was a good one.
Yeah.
I've
like
never
that
seen
one.
that one.
oh,
You know,
that's
Really?
good.
It's a good one.
But honestly, it's outlandish. It's bombastic. It's ridiculous. 2012 is probably my pick.
Yeah.
Right on. Okay.
Yeah.
See, there you go.
Nobody
There you
picked Volcano. With Tom
No,
Hanks?
Tom
Deep-
Williams.
actually, I think Deep Impact is a better Volcano because again, just like Armageddon and Deep Impact,
Yeah.
came out the same
Volcano
time.
and Dante's Peak came out at the same time.
Correct.
And I think Dante's Peak is just a better movie.
Yeah.
Although Armageddon is the first movie, and it's stuck with me ever since. That really once the astronauts go up and they create a civilization or start the process, the next couple squads of people are not going to be astronauts or settlers. They're going to be like plumbers and HVAC guys and water reclamation and the people who are down here, knee deep in the muck fixing stuff. Those are the people who are going to go up because they got to do it all again up on the moon or wherever else.
Yeah.
HVAC people, you know what I'm talking about. That's right.
Oh yeah, the moon. One of the things with with Woody and Indrid Cold that he claimed he was from Venus.
But that wouldn't it be kind of tough?
Right, but remember in the 60s we had no idea.
Right, what it was.
People thought it was like more of a like the jungle of the Amazon.
Right.
Tropical, colorful birds,
not a big
piranhas in the water.
not a
Yeah.
charcoal nugget.
Yeah, but
floating
now we
around.
know like absolutely nobody could live on
Yeah.
planet of Venus.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
So again, maybe a throwback to the mind manipulation of the military. So it's just an
Yeah.
experiment. I don't know.
Where would that be
I don't
coming
know
from?
how we went from Indrid Cold to disaster movies, and now we're trying to circle back to Indrid Cold. Even Indrid Cold would say no, not happening. Hey, remember everybody. Oh.
That we're not. Remember, we're not done yet.
No, we're not done yet. Hey, remember, everybody, I said we have a story from our buddy Will.
Right.
Yep.
It's Licia's turn to read the story.
All right. Hey, guys. It's Will again. I thought I'd let you know about my ghost tour of the Limp Mansion. As it turns out, it wasn't a tour of the mansion, but it was a tour of the area around it, including part of the Limp Brewery.
That's cool, though.
Yeah. We went into one of the buildings where in 2015, an artist was living. He had a heart attack and died in his little apartment. And by little, I mean the place where he died was maybe 10 foot by 6 foot. Like, it was small.
It's like a walk-in closet.
Yeah.
Also, in this building, the tour guide had a camera set up in the basement. Unfortunately, we didn't go down there, but we could see the live feed from it. A few people saw an orb of light on it, and my girlfriend saw a shadow move on it. But I didn't see anything. The rest of the tour, we walked around the area to different spots, including an old church from the 1800s that is supposedly haunted, and the school where in the 1950s a girl went missing. And to this day, no one knows what happened. People see the ghost of a little girl in the windows. The tour was really cool, and I didn't realize that there was so much paranormal stuff around the Limp Mansion. I'm sorry that this is such a long email, but I have one more thing to tell you guys. So I don't know if you remember me telling you about the UFOs I was seeing on our farm.
Sure do.
Well, when I told my friends about them, they obviously acted like they believed me, trying not to be mean. But you could tell they were a little skeptical of me. A year ago, before all my friends and I went off to college, I had a bonfire at my house and had them all out. We ended up driving around the gravel roads, and a couple of them apparently saw the same things I've been seeing. But they didn't tell me about them until after the ghost tour when we were eating. So it's official. I'm not the only one seeing the UFOs on my farm. You guys are awesome. Keep up the good work, and I can't wait to hear the next episode.
Thanks, Will.
Wow.
Appreciate that. And, hey, if one of those UFOs, a smiley man gets out,
That's right.
run.
Or ask him a few questions.
Right.
Be like, you know what? I know you want to talk about your questions and all this. I have a job. I'm here. Ask a few questions back. That's all I'm going to say. Yeah.
You don't think Woody asked questions back?
Who knows?
Read his book, bro.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good point. Good point.
Hey, don't forget, if you want to support the show, head over to paranormalpunches.com. We have a store where you can get our comic book.
Yeah.
We have a TeePublic store where you can get some T-shirts. We appreciate it. You're awesome. Thank you so much. Guys, any final thoughts on this topic or anything in general?
It was probably an alien, but
You're going alien, okay?
yeah, I'm going alien.
I'm going alien and mind control joint venture.
Okay.
Reference Montauk.
Okay.
Dave?
I'm going alien.
I like the idea that an alien race thought they could kind of mimic what they think humans look like.
Right.
And that's why the smile is just off, because they didn't get it right.
Right.
And all they did was scare the crap out of a bunch of people.
Right.
And maybe they're retooling it right now, and they're like, yeah, 2.0 going down. Indrid 2.0.
But if anybody can come across a place where I can get a shiny green or a shiny metal blue suit, let me know.
Stop it, bro.
That sounds
You already
awesome.
own one. I know it. No, my bad. That was a cod piece.
That's right.
Oh.
Wow, you going right to the piece, huh?
Well, from the Halloween party. we had.
Oh,
Yeah.
right.
When you were Macho Man, Ravi said. I was Roddy Popper.
Right.
Piper.
Roddy
you were Macho Man.
Jalapeno popper.
Yeah. Ooh, that could be my next costume.
That's it.
Ooh, I like it. And we like you. You're awesome. As we always say, if it's not weird,
It's not worth checking out.